Executive Committee meeting is called to order. First, I'd like to ask our interpreters to explain how to access interpretation. Please go ahead.
Good morning. Announcement from an interpreter. To use interpretation feature, please scroll to the bottom of the Zoom screen where the meeting controls are. Click on the interpretation icon, row, and select English as your language. If you're joining through the Zoom mobile app, cell phone, tablet, etc., please press ellipsis, then interpretation, and then choose your language. Finally, click on the mute original audio to not hear the original Spanish low in the background. Headsets are available for interpretation. If you're in the meeting room, please check out a headset from the receptionist in the lobby. Buenos días. Aviso por parte del intérprete. Para hacer uso del servicio de interpretación, favor desplazarse a la parte inferior de la pantalla de Zoom, donde aparecen los controles. Haga clic en el icono de interpretación, globo terráqueo y seleccione Spanish. Si está utilizando la aplicación mobile de Zoom, celular, tableta, etc., presione los puntos suspensivos, luego interpretación y luego el idioma. Si no desea escuchar el audio original en inglés en el fondo, por favor seleccione Mute Original Audio, silenciar audio original. Contamos con auriculares disponibles para el servicio de interpretación. Si se encuentra en la sala de reunión, favor de pedir auriculares con la recepcionista en el vestíbulo. Gracias. Thank you.
Gracias, thank you. I'd like to take a moment to acknowledge the land that we call home. The tribal nations of the San Diego region have historically faced injustices. We acknowledge the harmony that existed between the land, nature, and its original peoples, who have since endured displacement, persecution, and systemic oppression. We pay our respect to the unceded territory and homelands of the 18 tribal nations in our region, the most in any county in the United States, from 4 cultural groups, the Kumeyaay, Tegueño, the Luceño, the Cupeño, and the Cahuilla. This land has nourished, healed, protected, and embraced them for many generations in a relationship of balance and harmony. As members of the SANDAG community, we acknowledge this legacy. We aspire to learn from Indigenous traditional knowledge and experiences in undoing the injustices of the past. Now, please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready? Begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So, Michael, can you please confirm quorum?
We do have a quorum, Chair.
Okay, we would normally go to non-agenda public comments, but I see no commenters. Do we have any online?
We do have 2 public comments online. So for the purposes of civility and an orderly meeting, we kindly ask that you refrain from using loud, threatening, profane, or abusive language. Per board policy, the amount of time allowed for each verbal public comment is determined based on the number of agenda items, the complexity of those items, and the number of persons anticipated to offer comment. This allows us to hear from as many people as possible to complete our business while we still have a quorum. Based on those factors, the chair has determined that today's meeting, each member of the public will be allowed 2 minutes for their comments. And our first public comment is by Cranberry Sauce 23.
Hi, Blair Beekman. I got to change my email entrance. That's my email. Hi, happy meeting today. Closed meeting. Sounds like it'll be interesting for yourselves. To relate non-agenda public comment to more broad issues concerning your agenda item today on a future hiring of staff. I wanted to comment broadly the importance of what SANDAG does with Mexico, the conversations they have. I think it's really interesting and like important reasons why I've moved to San Diego and to be in San Diego in the first place is just to be around that atmosphere. You have some really important issues around border at this time, around the border, the future of toll issues, and all the technology involved. It's been very nicely offered by Mario that, you know, currently it's really difficult to talk about that technology at the border. And one of the reasons why I'm in San Diego is for those conversations at the border to eventually become easier about the future of tech. It is possible. I've explained before the work I do in Santa Clara County previously. You know, it was really hard for them to talk about the tech within their jail systems. It's now becoming easier to make it a public process. And I think we can do the same for the border tech issues and their current wall of not being able to talk about their tech. It is an accessible process. It really, I hope we can work towards those efforts and good luck that we can be. And good luck that we can really be talking about to lessen over militarization of current ICE and Border Patrol practices in our neighborhoods. It's really, really important. And we are addressing different items. I'll speak on the next item. Thank you.
Next public comment is Doreen Diaz, followed by phone number 3731.
Good afternoon. I want to speak about ADA access and equity for Hampshire. When you are looking at audits, when you're looking at your budget and you're thinking of hiring, we need to have a plan that comes up with equity for all communities. Hampshire's in District 4, and it's getting pretty sickening to be walking around and seeing elderly people in their 80s and 90s who no longer drive sitting on dirt ground in Hampshire, because over half of our bus stops do not have benches. Zero, you heard that, zero of our bus stops have shade covers. We have 18 bus stops. And equity should not be treated like a budget line item. Equity should be fair for all neighborhoods. If my people are sitting on the ground, then they should be sitting on the ground in Rancho Bernardo and in District 1 and every other district. The other thing is a lot of our buses come late. And these stops, and I hope someone drives by, 10698, 13116, 10704, 10707, 11452, 13021, 10714, 13118, 13023 are stopped without benches. Plus, there's another 10 that have no shelters. And I have given this report to Councilman Henry Foster, and I have given it to City Council, but transportation is being used to build more homes in our neighborhood. We do not have equity for what we have now. And if you guys are planning adding another 100 homes in my neighborhood, you need to fix transportation.
Our last public comment is by phone number ending in 3731.
Hey there, it's Truth. My in-person appearance is an undeserved privilege, not a right. Yesterday, I took advantage of the so-called free ride day for public transit. I found the lost revenue, our tax dollars, appalling. MTS wasted tons of tax dollars on newspaper, bus shelter signs, and bus bench ads for an event that loses money and has not been proven to increase ridership. Efficiency and safety increase ridership, not freebies. I saw 0 security officers, and when trying to arrive to my destination on time, I was 20 minutes late on a 1-hour, 45-minute journey that would have taken 30 minutes max by car. I wonder why I'm tired. Taxpayer lost free ride day also exposes how unaffordable the coaster is for people who rely on public transit. The only time it's full is on that day. A 3-zone round trip is $13. That's uncompetitive even with California's overinflated gas prices, let alone the unlimited trolley and bus rides from MTS at only $6. The coaster is not worthy of further investment, only replacement with a more cost-effective and less cost-prohibitive transit option. More trolley talk. Around 4 a.m., the San Isidro portion of the Blue Line trolley is max capacity. Around 3 p.m., the morning commuters pack the trolley on the return home to Mexico. That makes it harder on Americans to find a seat and to subsidize those foreign riders. The total cost to every tax-paying actual American resident includes each ride, labor, maintenance, repairs, and improvements. Every rider is subsidized somewhere near $1.30 to $1.80 per person. This is an undue burden on this county. There needs to be a tourism tax for foreign national transit riders like a TOT. Without the people from Mexico riding our trolleys, the actual ridership for the Blue Line may be no different than the Orange or Green Lines. Outside of the average work schedule on Saturdays, the Blue Line seems to have the same ridership as the Orange and Green Lines. But SANDAG has had a Mexico first agenda for so long now that the rest of the county has been shamefully neglected and divested, except Del Mar, who gets all the tunnels. Thank you.
That concludes our non-agenda public comment, Chair.
Thank you, Michael. So we're having this special meeting today to conduct interviews for the position of general counsel and provide direction to staff to advance candidates to the next interview stage, which will be scheduled in the coming weeks. We'll take public comments on this first item, and then we'll go into closed session. Michael, do we have any public comments on item number 3, which is the closed session?
Yes, we have 3 public comments. First is Blair Beekman.
Hi, Blair Beekman. Public comment number 2. Thanks for everyone's public comment previously. It was nice to hear today. I'm for as many people can use the trolley, it can be as accessible to everyone. And to work within that framework is how to make our decisions, I think is important. To offer that to continue to conclude, that it's important that we're building a tech future that's accountable, and that the work we do with Mexico shares ideas of, if we share our tech accountability practices, they have a load of good tech accountability practices they also have. Bringing those 2 concepts together, I think, can do something incredibly important at the border, and create different best practices for the other issues around the Tijuana River Valley, other environmental concern issues. I think it could be a great conversation starter we can have with Mexico to talk about open accountability with the tech at the border, and that it's an open public process and not this secret government cabal. And I'm really hopeful how we can work on that. Good luck in that effort and how you're going to talk about that with your new general counsel person. And also, the idea I wanted to quickly offer of environmental concerns for North County and what is going to be the future of Los San Corridor things. It has to be an emphasis on environmental concerns. And I hope that can be a part of the voting process for the general counsel person, that he's concerned with environment and makes that an open, accessible public process to understand. Man, I think that's just incredibly important. All the things we have to do for the coastlines, things like that. And we are addressing, I think, Trump has been trying to, chastise left-wing media in the recent assassinations. He stopped that. It's an important question why he stopped that.
Thank you. Your time has expired. Next is Truth, followed by Doreen Diaz.
Hey there. Hey to Michael. Why does everyone need to go to Suite 300 for closed session? Why can't you guys stick with the standard echo chamber? Is it too big? Not if you argue enough. Ask Lisa. It makes for great mid-meeting cool-down walks. Other question. Why did this meeting have to be scheduled for 9 a.m.? Why couldn't it have been scheduled for a more reasonable 11 a.m. or 12 p.m.? Why do you have to force people to wake up early when there were already 2 long and censorship-crazy Board of Supervisors meetings this week? SANDAG needs to give us regular unpaid people a break on these early start times. And as far as the general counsel specifically, I'm surprised the selection wasn't done by an ad hoc subcommittee like everything else was. I'm glad it's not, but why aren't these interviews being conducted publicly? Why haven't we been briefed on the criteria? Are you guys just going to pick King Albert? Or is this a firm search? Or statewide or nationwide search? No details. So I'm unsatisfied with this untransparent process because it seems like a secret government cabal conspiracy. SANDAG specialty. Remember when 2 supervisors claimed there's no conspiracy? Why so many of that's why so many of the corrupt cockroaches went scurrying after the light hit them. So I demand a general counsel who has no union affiliation and no political donations or political involvement be selected. A counsel who possesses demonstrated ethics, integrity, discernment, character, consistency, and commitment. The opposite of SANDAG as an overbloated, bureaucratic corporate agency. Who has a Mexico First agenda? Take my advice, quit being 16 minutes late to meetings, and thanks for having such a boring meeting to help me fall right back asleep after this. Thank you.
Our last public comment is by Doreen Diaz.
Hello. Well, I'll start off. I am completely 100% pro-union, and I do have some reservations for management positions over a certain amount because I think they should actually not be in a union, especially anyone making over 200,000. But my big concern, had we had an opportunity that to provide input on the hiring process, I would say get someone who's the opposite of the city of San Diego general counsel. Because, for example, we have a policy 624, which was updated, but they didn't update the administrative guideline for 624, which are 2015. They didn't update the ordinance, which was 2007, and they didn't compare 2022 624 update with the two legal analyses. There's so many contradictions. So I would hope, one, you get somebody with more common sense, and two, I would definitely like this board to have some policy that you ensure any candidate rides all of the MTS lines. And they should have an MTS card, and you should be able to track how often are they riding. Have they ride the blue, orange, and green? Because you should not be giving input, and you most definitely should not be voting on a matter if you haven't taken the brown line yet, or the green, or the blue, or the orange. You should be actually writing on this. And too many meetings, you see city council and all these people promoting transportation are showing up in their cars. And that's being hypocrites. If you truly believe in your transportation.
That concludes our public comment, Chair.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're now going to move into closed session. So those who do need to be there for this item, please follow me up to the fourth floor. We'll reconvene in the boardroom after the item is finished to share any reportable actions at about 1:50 p.m. Let's You're on.
It really is. It feels so good.
Okay, welcome back, everyone. I'll cover the reportable actions from closed session. In closed session, the executive committee took action to authorize staff to advance the selected candidates to the final round of interviews with the board of directors. Those interviews will be scheduled and concluded in the coming weeks. This concludes our meeting. The next executive committee meeting will be September 12th at 9 a.m. This meeting is adjourned.